king, baby.
Desperate to turn the tide of war back in their favor, they still have the infrastructure to transport deadly weapons at a moment's notice around Europe. And the French resistance have uncovered a rumor of a secret weapon so ruthless, so severe, it could make it impossible to reclaim France. This threat can't go ignored.
So Sniper Elite Resistance is Rebellion's newest entry in the Sniper Elite series. It just hit Game Pass, which I happen to have already because I really wanted to play Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which I did, and I cannot wait to release my video for that. But Sniper Elite Resistance is the first Sniper Elite game that I've played in 13 years, roughly. 2012 was when Sniper Elite V2 came out, which was the first one I ever played because I think they gave it away on Xbox 360 as like a game as gold, a game with gold, games with gold, whatever the hell they called it back then. So I don't know if it was exactly 2012 when I played it, but it's been roughly anywhere between 11 to 13 years since I last played a Sniper Elite game. I remember seeing Sniper Elite 3, I remember them announcing Sniper Elite 4 and 5, but I never played a single one. I never even beat Sniper Elite 2, but I can tell you this, Sniper Elite V2 was definitely fairly linear, single-player, story-driven game in comparison to these newer games. Sure, there was variability on how you wanted to play, but it was still largely a very linear experience with like one goal and you're kind of going there much like playing a normal campaign. Whereas I hop into Sniper Elite Resistance and not only from the menu, but also the just way things are set up, it was very much reminded me of the newer Hitman games where you kind of have like this list of levels. Once you get in these levels, there's like a whole variety of whether you want to do the side objectives, whether you don't want to do the side objectives, whether you want to just go after the main thing. And also it's like Sniper Elite 2 was more like, I think it was mostly you taking out targets, like trying to take out targets. That was a lot of what the game was. And that's not really what you're doing in Sniper Elite Resistance. Like you're kind of usually going more towards sneaking in places and stealing intel and things like that. You're doing these recon missions, basically. These almost Sam Fisher-esque espionage type things. You do usually have secondary assassination targets. Decently sized maps to sneak around in and choose how you want to play. You know, it's not quite as intricate as something like Splinter Cell, where, you know you can climb all these different things or do all these different stuff. The game is very contextual for the most part with what you can climb on and stuff. Like, there's a lot of walls that you can't climb up. Most of the time, you can't climb up any wall unless it has like a white, the alternate version of yellow paint, the white chalk or whatever. You use that to climb up. Most of the locations you can climb have that or something near that because you can't climb every pipe. You can't climb every wall. You can't climb everything. But you can climb a lot of stuff. So it's not quite like we're playing Saboteur. It's not Assassin's Creed World War II. It's like limited Splinter Cell meets Hitman in World War II. It's kind of like Hitman where there's not that much to interact with, but there's a little bit. But it's also like Splinter Cell, but it's more contextual. Like, it's got to be very specific things. You can't go into every building, but there are a handful of buildings you can go into. You can hide in bushes and do Assassin's Creed stealth assassinations of enemies and drag them instantly in the bush, which is great. You got places to hide and throw bodies, much like Splinter Cell or Assassin's Creed. You can go quiet or you can go loud. I don't know if there's like consequence to going loud or anything like that. I haven't seen any so far. Sniping is great. You got like these silent, like quieter ammo type you can use. Don't even know what that is or how it works, but yeah. People still hear shots. I mean, even suppressed shots from your pistol with a suppressor on it can be heard, which, by the way, is quite realistic if you are. They actually all have different ranges on them, so it's like 40 meters, 20 meters, depending on what it is. If you shoot somebody, if you're in the bushes and you shoot somebody in the head, and there's someone else within, 30 to 40 meters, then they're going to hear that and they're going to want to investigate. So you're going to need to go get that body, which I literally, I took off running. I was like, ooh, and ran across the street to grab this dude's body and then hoofed it back, heart rate up to like 170. I threw him in a box. And then the other dude's like, I already know I heard something. And he's looking around, and then I just come up behind him and just slit his throat. And then throw him in the same box. And then turns out there's a guy in this outpost, which I shot out the light with my suppressed pistol. And apparently, the dude was right there, and it perfectly lined up. I shot the light, and the bullet went through and also shot the guy. And I was like, okay, well, that's cool. I like how you can shoot through things if they're like a certain material. I mean, I don't know if you get like a higher powered rifle and you can shoot through concrete, but I know you can shoot through wood, which is pretty cool. Not something you'd expect. The game offers a lot of variety, too. I mean, between the customization of your weapons, your loadouts, it is kind of weird that, like, the character customization is just, like, either skins, or which are all other characters, or then you have, like, hats, but you can only unlock the hats once you beat the game, and it's like, at that point, why would you even care about the hats? I don't know. I mean, I guess replayability-wise, it's just, like, doing all the side objectives and choosing different ways to play through, much like Hitman. I mean, it's very Hitman, in my opinion. It's very similar, especially to the most recent Hitman games in the way it's styled, I guess. You could also crouch and go prone. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff like that. You can actually take cover, which I don't think there was a real cover mechanic in Sniper Elite 2. I don't think there was. But there's like an actual cover mechanic now. You can even press a button and change your view to like a first-person view when you're using pistols and other weapons. You can even choose to use your sniper rifle in a third-person view, which is pointless, but you can, which is very Metal Gear Solid 5, in my opinion. Like, it reminds me a lot of Metal Gear Solid 5, where you just press the button and you aim down in like this weird, really terrible first-person perspective, which I rarely ever do, and I don't find much benefit in doing it personally. Overall, I mean, super good game. Like I said, it has a lot of variety when it comes to what you're able to do. It has a whole PvP multiplayer mode. It has a snipers only PvP multiplayer thing. It has a survival mode. It has co-op campaign, of course, single player campaign. And it offers like challenge modes, and you unlock a lot of those from finding secrets and collectibles within the story missions. To say it has a story is pretty vague. I mean, it has a story in the same way Hitman does. It has like this weird story that's like at the beginning and end of missions, and it gives you context for what's going on in the world and like what you're doing, kind of. But the story is not the draw for either Hitman or Sniper Elite, in my opinion. It's just not, that's not why you're playing these games. You're playing these games because of the gameplay, the stealth, the variety of ways to accomplish your objectives, and to just have a good time. Because ultimately, Sniper Elite Resistance is just a good time. It's just really fun, entertaining, enjoyable fun. It's a video game as video game. That is how many people have described it, and it's the most fitting thing. I mean, it is. And it's not Sniper Elite 6. It seems to be very much exactly like Sniper Elite 5 mechanically. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. And I mean, sure, people are like, oh, it's $50. It's like a full price game. I'm like, it's not a full price game. Games are $70 now. So even if you're looking at it from that point of view, a AAA game is $70. That game, which, Rebellion's kind of double A, but their game's still $20 less than any other games. $10 less than what game, full price games were. So actually it's a discounted price. Plus you still get PvP multiplayer. You get challenge modes. You get single player and co-op campaign. And you get all the same mechanics from Sniper Elite 5, but a new character, new supporting characters, new story, new maps, new locations. I've heard that there are some improvements on the overall actual gunplay and elements of the gameplay that's just slightly polished up, which is good to hear. I can't compare it myself because I never played Sniper Elite 5. I think that the main character of the previous games looks a lot better. The guy in this game is one of the goofiest ass people I've ever seen in my life. He just looks so goofy and so cartoony and out of place. Harry Hawker. What a cheesy ass name. Harry Hawker. I mean, yeah. And it's always really, really like uncanny valley when you sit there and look at his weird goofy ass face, and then you hear like Jason Statham's voice come out of him, and you're like, what the this dude, he's got a dang super deep Jason Statham like English accent, and then he looks goofy as hell. I don't understand why they made him look so goofy. What is Carl, I think the main character of the other games, the character model doesn't look even remotely as goofy. So it's really weird. Also, Carl's a lot cooler looking overall, just the way he dresses and stuff. Where this dude's just like, he's like basically just in military slacks. You know what I mean? Like he's just wearing this very hefty clothing, and it just, for what he's doing, it just doesn't make any sense. He's not wearing anything that is at all better for his movement. He's wearing the most movement hindering clothing known to man. So yeah, I don't get it, but it is what it is. It doesn't affect my enjoyment of the game. I like the voice acting. I like the voice actor. I just don't think it fits this dude's look at all. It's cool to see, France, which apparently 5 is also in France. This is another part of France or whatever. I don't know, shit. Maybe Sniper Elite 6 is going to be Carl and Harry on a adventure in Australia or something. I don't know. Yeah, Sniper Elite Resistance. So much fun. Really good time. Enjoyable ride. Highly recommend it. Maybe you'll see me talk more about Sniper Elite if I end up playing 5. I do have Game Pass, so if I roll credits on Resistance, maybe I'll boot up 5, see how that is. I wish the rest of the games were on there, but I'll have to buy those separately. Honestly, the one that interests me the most is actually Sniper Elite 3, which I don't think Sniper Elite 3 is as open as 4 and 5 and Resistance. I think it's more linear like 2, but I like the Africa setting. It looks really cool. I like that desert setting. I don't know what it is. It's either like I really like stuff with water or I really like stuff with a desert. I don't know. That one seems really cool, so I might, since I originally played 2, I might jump back to 3. That'd be fun. And then maybe play 2. Maybe I'll just play them all. I don't know. I'm jumping around with games right now. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you have a great day.
Thanks to the usual homies for all the support. Medium, Osh.
I'll see you all next time. The Forge is calling and I must answer.